Hello and welcome back to Newhouse Esports Update. Last week we took a look at strategy games, essentially the miscellaneous bargain bin of online competitive games in the esports scene. Now we've gone over pretty much every single genre of video games in the broadest sense. Of course there are specific subgenres and games that may be a little bit uncategorized, but at the end of the day, most of the major games fall in those previous genres that I've listed. However, that leaves out a key amount of video games that are very popular in the market, and those are single-player games. Single-player games are just that. One player plays them, and there isn't a whole lot of compatibility with multiplayer. Sometimes there's none at all. Now, the majority of the games that I've played in my lifetime are single-player games. They're the ones that I've poured the most hours into, and the ones that I generally play to unwind, relax, or just want to have fun. Now, isn't this just playing video games for fun, just like you can do with the online multiplayer games? Well, yes, but there is still a competitive aspect to a single-player game, and that is speedrunning. Speedrunning, at its core, is a race against the clock. A player plays the game and tries to finish or complete it in as little time as possible by any means necessary. To explain that, here's a little bit of information concerning the vocabulary of speedrunning. To finish a game is to simply reach the end of the game, whatever that may mean. Maybe it's making the credits roll, or defeating the final boss, or beating the final level. That means you finished the game. However, completing the game is slightly different. This leads to the subgenres any percent and 100%. Any percent is finishing the game as quick as possible by any means necessary, which includes maybe skipping some key areas or completely ignoring a section of the game. However, 100% is going through every single area of the game, collecting every item, finishing every task, helping every person, whatever that may be in that game, while also reaching the end of the level. Throughout speedrunning history, pretty much every single-player game has gone through the speedrunning community, as tons of dedicated speedrunners play the games that they love in an attempt to finish it in as least time as possible. The game that really kicked off the speedrunning craze was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, one of the most critically acclaimed video games of all time. After its release in 1998, speedruns came out pretty much every day for years, with tons of strategies, glitches, and skips coming out every day. These strategies range in difficulty from simple enough to understand to almost impossibly complex, to the point where you wonder how people even found it at all. People found out pretty early in the Ocarina of Time speedrunning days that walking backwards is a little bit faster than walking forwards, so that was implemented pretty quickly. In some of the more complex discoveries, some people found out that if you step on the outside of this warp platform in just the right time, and on the exact frame you step out of this room, you can teleport right to the end of the game. And not just that, but people found out that if you pick up certain items and put them down in certain areas, you could create values that could alter the code of the game and warp you to the end credits. Technically, this counts as a finish. So it's possible to beat Ocarina of Time in as little as 5 minutes. The game really went from being a mainstay in pop culture and basically being the standard for single-player video games for years to come, to being a walk in the park and something that you could finish while you're waiting for your meal to cook. These players perfect these glitches and strategies to shave off as little time as possible, because in speedrunning, every millisecond counts. There isn't really a most popular game to speedrun anymore, because with every release of a new single-player game, speedrunners are immediately figuring out how to break it and how to finish it in as little time as possible. It's so entertaining to watch speedruns because, as someone who may play video games for a long amount of time, and maybe takes a really long time to get past a certain level, it is simultaneously amazing and disheartening to see someone basically make a joke out of one of your favorite games. To show you what a speedrun might look like, I'm going to jump into Celeste, a very popular speedrunning game, and just play one section of the game as fast as I can.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the computer.
So this time I will be doing some speedrunning. So basically just me playing through a game solo and seeing how fast I can beat it. The game I'm playing today is Celeste. It is a platformer game, pretty pixelated, fun little art style, great music, and I'm going to see how fast I can beat it. There will be a clock in the top left corner of the screen where you can follow my progress, so let's just see how fast I can beat the summit. Alright, here we go. Clock is started in the top left. We are already 5 seconds in. That's going to happen a lot. Ow! On to the next. Oh, it was so close. No! This game is entirely trial and error. There it is. After 50 minutes and 44 seconds, I finally finished it. Yes, we actually did it. I can't believe we did it. And there it is. The summit. There you go. That's the end of Celeste. I did it in 50 minutes and 44 seconds. The world record is 24 minutes, not for this level, but for the entire game. So yeah, speedrunners are just on another caliber, on another level. This level alone takes the world record around 7.5 minutes to complete. It took me 50. So yeah, that's speedrunning. Or that was not speedrunning. They are definitely the speedrunners there. So there you go. That's what speedrunning is like. Just keep going until you finish, and hopefully you finish quickly. I didn't. There are some people that can. But yeah, let's send it back to me to round things out. Now those segments were cut just for editing's sake, but that's how quick I finished. And what if I told you that the person that holds the world record for this finished that section alone in 7 minutes and 53.9 seconds? He finished the whole game in just over 26 minutes. That's how fast these people are. Now, of course, if I practiced and played pretty hard, I could probably get to that level, but that is a lot of mechanical skill that I just don't have right now. Who knows? Maybe I'll grind and get to that point. So that's the single-player aspect of esports, speedrunning. The speedrunning community is actually very tight-knit and is very encouraging of one another, to the point where people are sharing strategies and helping people with various skips, glitches, and aspects of the game to get them just a little bit faster and just a little bit higher on those leaderboards. I never jumped into it myself, but with how my performance was in that game of Celeste, I might want to try it out someday. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Newhouse Esports Update. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll come back next week for more content on the wide world of esports.